Hello, good evening. I'm Mark Pinto here with you at Phoenixville Public Library, and welcome to the next presentation in the Community Gardening Around the Village series, brought to you by the library and a host of partners, including Phoenixville Communities That Care, the Phoenixville Recreation Department, Phoenixville Area Transition, Living Landscape, Penn State Extension, Camp Hill, Kimberton Hills, Phoenixville Hospital, Trellis for Tomorrow, and the Chester County Food Bank. Thanks to all of you. And tonight we're going to learn about the concept of a food forest and how you can start a food forest in any space. We're pleased to have with us Edil Cunampio, who calls himself the backyard orchardist. Edil lives in Phoenixville and owns Backyard Orchard Consulting, a company dedicated to helping local people grow their own food. Their mission, their vision is to empower people to learn how to take care of their land in order to create a healthier planet for a better future. Edil does this by helping people to start, design, and or maintain food forests, also known as backyard orchards. We ask you to hold all of your questions and comments until the end of the presentation. At that time, you'll be able to type in the chat or unmute yourself. Well, let's learn more about the food forest with Edil. Edil, welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you, Mark. I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to actually to be talking about this. I am very passionate about helping people really to grow their own food, especially this time. It's been a hard. The last year, it's been hard since all the virus and trying to avoid people. It's really a good time to start growing our own food. And sometimes we get really excited and we jump in and we don't know what we're doing and things like that. And that's why I'm really excited to share some idea here, some principle that is going to help you to start growing your food. Let me see, okay. I'm gonna talk a little bit about me, just a little bit. So I am from Panama. I am actually from an indigenous group, and we are 7 different tribes in Panama. I am from one of them. Back in my village, we grow a lot what we eat and what we need. So the first picture, if you see the pictures, that's in Panama, and that's around the house where I grew up. And whatever you see in the pictures, they have a function. They have a purpose in there. You can see plantain, sugarcane. You can see firewoods, fruiting trees, and things like that. We grow like 80%, 90% of what we need around the house. So that idea of the food forest is getting more common in here, and it has a different name. It's permaculture is known in here, but it's pretty much the same concepts. So I grew up in having the food around me when I was a kid, and I have the love for trees and bushes and any plants, really. And that's one of the things that I wanna help people. I know it's harder in here, but I wanna help people how we can leave something behind that it will be for the future. Tree is a great thing to do that. So my goal with that today is to just inspire you to do something, even if it's just planting one tree. If I can do that tonight, that will be great. Okay, let's keep moving. And so a lot of when I talk to my clients about a food forest, people don't quite get the idea what a food forest is. Some people think that to grow a food forest, you need a big space, and that's not true. You don't need a big space. You can grow a food forest in any site, it doesn't really matter. You can grow in 10 by 10 or 10 acres. It doesn't matter really. You can grow food in any site. People think also when we talk about food forest that is like a growing food in the forest, which is actually not true. Is growing food like the forest, but no in the forest. So it's a little different in there. Also, people think when we talk about food forest that again that you can't do it because you don't know, and it's very easy. That it's not doable, but it really is. It's a very easy. You follow some principle, and it's gonna come easier later. So yeah, you can grow in any space.
Edil, we're losing you.
Really a lot of food.
Edil, we're losing you, Edil. Edil, can you hear me? Yeah, we're losing.
Really? Oh no.
Your signal is not very strong.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Oh no, I don't know. Maybe it's. Are we good?
Says your network bandwidth is low, so your internet connection is not too strong, apparently.
Oh no, I'm so sorry about that. Are we good? Oh no.
You can try, keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, and in order, I think with anything that we're gonna do, you always need a plan. You need a design, and because you are dealing with, let's say, tree is a main part of any food forest. You need to think a little bit more serious about this, because a tree, whatever you planted, is going to stay there for a decade, so a couple decades. So let's say if you plant an oak tree, it's going to be there for 100 years. If you plant something that is going to stay longer, like a chestnut tree, it's going to be there for almost 1,000 years. So we need that. The first step, you need to have a design and a little bit of planning. It's not too hard. Again, it's not too hard. It's very doable. So what you need to do, the first step is to think what you want to grow in whatever you want to, in any space. Again, you need to be thinking about, okay, what do you want? More food? You want to, yes, it's doable. You want to grow maybe medicine? You want maybe pollinators or flowers? Or you want berries? You need a little bit of plants. And okay, so, and then after that, you need to get to know a little bit of your land, where you are, what kind of soil do you have, what is, how much sunlight you get, the wind, the water. All of these you need to be thinking before you're gonna plant anything. And then after that, what you need to do is very simple, is to pick the plant that you want to grow. For instance, let's say you want a persimmon tree. You need to, yeah, you're gonna make a list what you want to do. Okay, going back again, it's like if you want more medicine, you can grow more medicine, or you can want more berries or more fruit or more fibers. All of that, it can be included in your desired plant. And this is very important too. Always I ask to my client how much time you have after you figure out the space, your land. You need to figure out also how much time you have. and money too, because then you're gonna need to buy the trees. You need to you know, work in that, and they need to be released. I mean, it's very, again, it's very exciting when I talk about food forests, what you can grow. And I always need to tell my clients, don't get too excited, because in the beginning it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna become easier with years, but in the beginning it's gonna take more time and efforts. Short and long-term goals, you need to have those two. Again, because when we're talking about a food forest, again, you're gonna include trees. Again, if we are talking about an oak trees, that means that's a long-term goal. So what's the short? Sometimes the short goal are, we want food, we want berries. Since those are easy, they're gonna be the first year, the first couple 2 years, maybe 1 or 2 years, you're gonna have berries and things like that. If you're gonna add annual to that, is the first year, really. So those goals, again, you need to figure it out what you want right away, and what is gonna be the tree that's gonna stay for a longer time. And okay, let's talk about soil a little bit. I said a little bit before about one of the components that you need to be paying attention in the beginning is the soil. You have a wet soil or dry soil, or you have a clay soil. You need to know what kind of soil you have, because after you get to know your soil, then you can think better, okay, how I can fix the soil. And it's very important. Again, in the spring, right now we're talking about trees, right? But in the spring, people get so excited about go out, plant everything. The weather gets a plant, let's say an apple tree, then they just get an apple tree and they go, okay, I have space here, I'm gonna stuck it in there. Poor tree doesn't have that much food in there, what it is. So the soil, it needs to be addressed. What does the soil need? Most of the soil here are depleted, which means bad soil are around here. And you're not gonna be successful if your soil is very bad. Okay, that's the foundation of growing successfully. Any kind of food is in the soil. You need to really pay attention to your soil, what it needs to be fixed. It's, again, if it's wet, how you can you can manage the water. Before planting, you need to really pay attention what kind of soil you have. Okay.
Edil, before you continue, I just wanted to let you know I turned off your video.
Any type of soil here around is very bad.
Edil, can you hear me? It's
okay.
Hello, Edil.
Okay,
I wanted to let you know I turned off your video so that your audio will be better.
Okay. Can you hear me well?
Better. I can hear you right now. Yeah, I turned off your video so your audio would come through a little bit better, we hope.
Yeah, again, I'm sorry about
so we're not seeing you. We're not seeing you right now.
Okay.
We're just seeing your presentation.
Okay, that's fine. That's all good. Okay, yes, the soil. You need to fix the soil. So you need to get your soil ready for any plants. And it's one easy way that I build that soil is using wood chips. I'm gonna be using wood chips, and pretty much most of my design, it will be wood chips. So, okay, if we go back to this picture here, you can see wood chips around. So wood chips has many functions. So one is build at the soil. And the way, let's say you're gonna plant, the persimmon tree. Let's say like, okay, here is the spot where I'm gonna plant persimmon, a persimmon tree. So the way that I get the soil ready for the persimmon tree, ideally is a year before. I laid down layers, I call it organic layer, which will be just cardboard on top of the grass, and then the compost. That is gonna kill the grass, and that organic matter is gonna start building up the soil now. And there's another layer this is called the fungus layer, which is gonna lay down like a couple inches of wood chips. Now the wood chip has, again, many benefits. I am really fond of using wood chip to build in soil. And how it works is really very simple. The wood chip is, again, suppressing the grass, but also hold the moist, and then the bacteria and funguses start accumulating there, and they start breaking down the wood chips. That is turning into a soil, really. If I do that like a year before I'm gonna plant, whatever plant or tree it goes in that spot is gonna be so happy because it's food already in there. And in one go, actually, I am building my soil for the next couple years because the wood chip is going to start breaking down slowly. That means it's food right away for the tree there. So wood chip has so many benefits. So that's another layer. So to accelerate the breaking down process, I cover it with either a straw, leaf, newspaper, or cardboard. So again, that hold the moist and is gonna start breaking down faster. I wish I could show you a pile of wood chips that I have used before. You don't need to understand that all that the chemistry behind this, but you need to know this. It really worked, and it built up your soil. So just give it a try. Starting a compost pile in your site is a good way to do that, you know, because your tree is gonna, or whatever you plant is gonna need food too. Yeah, so soil is really important that you pay attention to your soil because that's the key to succeed. Okay, one thing that I also do, again, when people get so excited, it's a good idea to start small. And what I am saying to people also say is like start small, start well, learn, get excited, and grow more. Rather than doing a lot in the beginning and then not having the energy to finish it up and then giving up. Because it's very easy to do that. So they start small. What I do, again, with food forest, with my client, I usually start with patches. And I do patch here, and because, again, if it's a slope, I'm gonna, the bottom part of the slope, it will be plants that they like moist or water, and plants that they like dry, so it will be more up in the hill and things like that. So I start with patches again. And again, the patches is just gonna lay down cardboard and wood chips. It's again, suppressing weed, adding organic matter, feeding your trees. I mean, you can do this concept with any existing tree. If you have tree already and the tree is not happy, if you want to revive your tree, give it wood chip, give it cardboard. It's gonna get your soil better and your tree better too. So yeah, patches, small patches, like for instance, in here I have 2 pawpaw tree here, and I have blue, the indigo. I think I have mountain in here, and we can talk about more how they work together. but patches, small patches here. So what I do also, as I keep growing, so I'm gonna be adding the next following year more wood chips on the grass. So the growing area is gonna keep expanding. Again, start small. If you have the energy, just keep expanding. You're gonna get your soil better, and they will be ready for more planting. I mean, it doesn't, again, the food forest approach is really in any space. And that's why, because you can start small, you can start big, you can start a square and a fence, you can start next to the house. It doesn't have a restriction really. What else? Okay, when we are talking about food forest, I think we really need to talk about, because we are trying to mimic the forest, but in this concept, we are trying to have things that they have purposes again. And we call these layers. And if you go to the forest, you're gonna see that they have like a different layers. You know, the tall tree, the canopy layers, which is the very tall tree, like a 50 plus, the medium tree, understory trees, small tree, shrub layers, and things like that. They are vine in the forest. Sometimes they are ground cover if the deer is not around. The root zone, soil builder, we can talk about that more later. But those components, if we go back again here, so in the tropic, we have 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of nighttime. It doesn't change. The tropics are different, and it's humid and it's wet, and that's why things growing so fast. Now, we cannot do that here because the temperature is, have the different climate. So when we talk about those layers, yes, you can do the tall trees, like things like again, the chestnut tree is a good one. So you can pack it as it was in here. Again, because if you do that all together, it's not gonna work in here because it's not gonna get enough sunlight here. So I mean, again, I usually start again one main tree. Again, when you have identified what it will be your big tree, then you can work around the big tree there. And again, this is the forest we see around. It will have most of this layer, not all of them, but most of them. And now when we are talking about food forest, so we're gonna be growing things again that are gonna have some benefit for us. But at the same time, we're gonna have things that we're gonna put together things that they're gonna support each other. Things that are gonna be helping each other. And we're gonna talk about more about this, the next one. I have a few species here. Usually, again, I start here because I am working with people with smaller spaces. I work with the kind of like the canopy tree. It's not gonna be something that tall. It's gonna be kind of medium sized, really, which is like in the list, it can be like a standard apple tree, which is 30 feet plus. An American persimmon, it will be something like that's a big tree. It's gonna be like a 60 feet tall. A chestnut tree is another tall one. A hickory one is again tall one. You don't have to include everything. Again, you adjust it at the space you have. Like for instance, I have here in my space, I don't have that much space really. I started with the median tree. That's the median tree for me is the main tree. And the median tree will be something like the mulberry, apple, Asian pear, Juneberry, Asian persimmon, elderberry. Those three are about like something like in between 20, the tallest will be maybe 30 feet tall. And not for that, close to that, it will be the shrub layers. Things like a gummy, currants, gooseberry, honeyberries, blueberries. I put the blueberry kind of a little apart because, you know, they have a different requirement from the soil. So kind of like they need to be in their own. So, but you can grow blueberry. Blueberry is actually one of my favorite berries to grow around here. But again, you just need to fix the soil, the pH in the soil, and for sure you need to get netting. You do these two things, when you blueberry, they're gonna be there around for 30, 40, 50 years. So blueberry, one of my top in the list to grow. And after the herbs, then you have any herbs really, like comfrey, chicory, borage, any herb that for cooking is. Herbs are good for attracting pollinators. So any herb, like oregano, like mint, like all of these, any herbs is good for attracting pollinators. And the vines, we have very few selection in that one there. We only have like a grape and a hardy kiwi and any annual, but it can do the things. You can grow with, this layer of vines. Ground cover, and again, ground cover I use a lot too because I don't want to weed around the trees. I try to plant things that they're gonna suppress the weed. Things like clover, the Alpine strawberry is a good one. While ginger, thyme, I mean, annual, anything, perennials, ground cover is like, I mean, more you plant around the tree, more they're gonna suppress the weed. And then we had the root zones. I mean, it's any really any vegetable that you can grow. I mean, it can be like, I mean, potatoes. You can do potatoes. You can do beet. You can do radishes, turnips, and things like that. That is gonna only work in the beginning because as the tree grows or the bushes grow, you don't want to disturb the roots around. But in the beginning, it is a good way to maximize the space. And then soil builder, this one, there's mushroom. I use mushroom a lot for, again, for building soil. The mushroom is a species that hold so much for us. There will be another topic about mushroom, but quickly I will say mushroom is, their job is to take any raw material to turn it into something that is available for the plants. So mushroom. So I use a lot of mushroom, even that is more than you can eat. Mushroom is a good way to build your soil. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, let's talk about like, I need, again, my job here is, again, yes, to get you excited about planting something, but at the same time, it's all you to make you aware of what are the pros and cons about this concept. It's a great concept, but it has some cons too. In the beginning, it's gonna require upfront hard work. And the reason of that is because you're gonna build out your soil. You are gonna try to suppress weed, and because you are working with trees and bushes, it's gonna take a longer time to bear fruit. But it will. They will for sure. But it's just gonna take a little longer. For instance, like any berry, blueberries, like currants and things like that, they're gonna be bearing fruit in about 2-3 years. If we talk about apple, if it's a standard apple, it's gonna be about 10 years before you start harvesting. If it's a semi-dwarf, it's gonna be more like a 6-8 years. If it's a dwarf apple, it's gonna be quicker. It's gonna be 2-3 years. So it takes a longer time. It's not like the annual that is you're gonna have the fruit like or the harvest in a couple weeks or a couple months. Working with perennials, it takes a little bit longer. It can be a lot in the beginning, again, because you need to take a lot for them. Like, I mean, you need to water them, you need to weed them, but as they grow and shade, they become self-sufficient. Then you're gonna start like, you're gonna end up more like pruning and mulching a little bit and light weeding. And that's it. You're gonna be harvesting after that. That will be in more mature tree or a forest. You're gonna have that in some species that the chance that you can propagate, some species that you can craft a different variety in the same tree. So those are the pros and cons. Is, I mean, from my side is fun. I have so much fun growing perennials. I prefer growing perennial a lot more than the annuals, because it's like you're gonna plant, let's say one apple tree and that's it, or 2 or 3. Rather in the annual, every year you need to try again. I love vegetable, I love annual, but my heart is like really for perennial and trees and things that they're gonna stay there. Okay. So, a word of encouragement about this concept. Again, it can be a lot. Again, it can be a lot in the beginning, but you don't need to know everything. You really don't need to know everything. For instance, if I plant a persimmon tree, I don't need to know everything a persimmon tree. And because it's gonna be there, you're gonna have the time to keep learning. They grow together. The tree is gonna keep growing, and you're gonna keep growing your knowledge and your passion. So it's fun. Again, it's fun. And again, it's way beyond more than food, because when we are talking about tree, it's really like a legacy for the future. Like, I mean, if you, let's say, if you plant a chestnut, for instance, it can live almost 1,000 years. That's really cool. I am planting trees like that with my kids because I want to leave something for them. And when I look to the future, like we are talking about, like we're losing tree and things like that. When I look in the next 50 years, it doesn't look promising. And I want to help the next generation with living tree like that behind me. Tree is gonna test your patience and make you a better person, again, because sometimes we want things quicker. Tree, they have their own speed. You can't accelerate. You need to be patient. It's a good way to become a better person. All right, I'm gonna show next a few examples, on my work. For instance, here, this client of mine. So when I got here to this side, she has like the very traditional kind of like way you grow tree here. She have peaches and apples, and everything else it was green, like just the grass. So what we did there, it was I was trying to get more into the space. So because she is in a slope, you can see the contour down here. The water rolled off quickly there. So I wanted to catch the water So what we did, we dug a swell. This is a swell to catch the water for the tree. I don't have more picture, but down below here, there are apples and more peaches. And then I plant some pollinators, and this is an Asian persimmon, and this is a comfrey, which is a really good for it's a champion of any garden. A comfrey, you can do so much and do so much for any garden. Really attract pollinators. You can use it like a compost tea. It bring up mineral from the roots. You can use like a mulching. You can chop and rub around, and they can grow back like a 2-3 times in the growing season. They grow very fast, and it's a beautiful purple flowers. So I am doing that in here. So everything in here is supporting the persimmon tree. The comfrey is gonna fix the nitrogen and nutrients. When I cut it, this is gonna release all the nutrient in the soil. I also have ground cover, they are just in the beginning, but they're gonna cover the ground. I think those are strawberries, Alpine strawberries. And I have, I think, I'm not quite sure what plant I have that, but it's included a nitrogen fixers. It's included like a beneficial attractor plants. It's included ground cover and nitrogen fixer, ground cover, and pollinator attractor. All of these supporting this guy. And also, we inoculate mushroom in here. The wine cup mushroom. It's very easy to grow in wood chips to break down the compost. I mean the wood chips. We're gonna use the wood chips to feed when this is start breaking down, because the water we're gonna use it on the trees. And again, it's just like a more filling up the space. Another example is this one here. This is a client that it didn't have that much space. So what we did in here, it was just like, she wants some fruit trees. And she would say, I want something easy. I don't have the energy to just take care of them. So what we did is an Asian pears. Asian pear are easy to grow, and they're really good. So what we combined here was Asian pear with an European pears next to the house. So on a dwarf Asian pear and dwarf European pears. And then we put herbs. So again, they're good for attracting beneficial insects. And they can take a dry soil. That's a good thing about herbs and shade. And they're doing just fine, really. They're just doing fine. Another one is, this is again the same picture. This is just 2 pawpaw trees. The reason that we plant 2 pawpaw trees together is because they need to be cross-pollinated. And they're just 1 foot apart, and they're gonna grow just like one single trees. That's what they do in the wood. And then the client here doesn't have really a big space, and we just took it out a pawpaw tree. There again, pawpaw tree are very, very easy to grow. They're really good in flavor. If you like a tropical like flavor, like a mango or banana or pineapple, pawpaw tree is your tree. Again, easy to grow. That's what most of my clients, they want something. They don't need to spray. They need to be taken care of. This is one of the things you can do. Again, it's just more supporting these guys. It's just blue wall indigo to fixing nitrogen. I think we have mountain mint for attracting beneficial insects. And I can't forget what else we have. But most of the time, I am always putting together the main tree, the tree that you wanna get the fruit of. And then I do nitrogen fixer, ground cover, and beneficial insect attractor. That compost is always going to be together. The plants, they're going to change a little bit, but the goal, they will be the same. Nitrogen fixers, beneficial attractor, ground cover in your main trees. In this case, or the pawpaws. And then this is a client of mine. In this case, she wanna just get rid of the grass in the entrance here. What we did is just blueberries. We stacked the blueberry, we kind of zigzagged the blueberry around to maximize the space. And then one side we plant beneficial flowers, really. And the other side, we're gonna plant herbs. So each side, they're gonna have something. And again, the same thing. The main crop here are the blueberries. And the second one are things that are gonna fix the nitrogen, attract beneficial insect, which are the herbs. And it's gonna be beautiful. They're gonna be flowering, they're gonna look great. And that's one of the things that actually the food for it can end up in something really beautiful. Besides, not just beside food, it beautify, it make things better. Okay. Let's talk about again, let's say, okay, I want you guys to think about, okay, sounds great. How I can do it in my space, how we can do that. So it's a little bit, I try to condense all how the food for it works. And again, like a half hour, I'm trying to be a little bit faster. But anyway, so you just need to, again, what's your goal? What do you want to grow? Medicine, or just for fun, or fruit, or whatever the goal it is, you just write it down. The planting area, you need to prepare your soil. Wood chips again goes there. Select your main tree. What is it? What is the biggest thing that you want to grow? A persimmon tree, a mulberry, whatever it is. So pick it up and then select that supporting plant for them. Start with your fruit plant. Again, the supporting plant again are things that they're gonna fix the nitrogen, ground cover, and beneficial insects. One way that I do, to help you understand how this principle work is in this way. Again, traditionally here, again, people go to the nursery, get a plant, and put it in the ground. Now, that tree is going to be sad because there's not much food in their soil. So again, what I do again is prepare the soil for the tree. I put things that are going to support them, like nitrogen fixers, and it's gonna be a happy tree there. Yeah, you can keep just growing your planting area. Start small, but you can keep growing as you want. You can just keep growing, and you can be planting things that are not easy to buy in the grocery store, or things that you like. Yeah, it's so much you can do, really. Okay, let's try to do questions. Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, can you start your video again?
Sure.
People can see you again. All
Okay.
right. Great. Thanks so much, Edil. Yeah, feel free now, folks, to put your questions in the chat. Looks like we've got one there. Do you see that, Edil?
Yeah. Let me. Yeah, I do.
You see the question that's in the chat, Edil?
I don't see. I had comment, but yeah, the first. Yeah, I found one question. I have a couple
about the blueberry bushes.
Yeah, I have a couple of blueberry bushes that aren't doing very well. How can I amend? Let me see. how can I amend the soil to improve them? Okay, again, going back to the blueberries. So blueberries are very picky about their soil. They're very, very picky. They're actually, they can even die if their pH is not right for them. So I will suggest you do a soil test. Very inexpensive. You can get it from the extension, $10. You say, I want to grow blueberry. You send them to them. They're going to send you, okay, this is your pH, and this is what you need to add to fix it. And if you do that, blueberry will be happy. Usually is the pH in the soil that when the blueberry is not doing well, usually is the pH in the soil. Again, you fix this, you get netting, blueberry can stay in for decades around you. And when they're older, actually, when they're about 10 years, and that's the time when they're very, very productive. So yeah, I would do that. Okay. Any great option for indoor? Yeah, I mean, indoor, usually when we are talking about indoor, there will be more like a tropical type of like a fruit, like a lemon, things like that. You can do lemon inside. You need to be a smaller and a big pot. Figs is a good one too. You don't need to bring it inside really. They can, usually figs die back, but they come back really, and they fruit again. But they need to be kind of like a protecting from the wind. I used to let the fig next to the house in the wind. But yeah, I mean, lemon is, I would say, is the indoor option is a good one. Okay, you mentioned the beneficial flowers. What are some that you use? Flower, again, I use comfrey. I go the indigo, the first blue indigo. Yarrow is a beautiful plant and attracts so much beneficial insects. And again, any herbs is good for attracting beneficial insects. Comfrey, yeah, yarrow, like, I mean, lupin is a good one too. And again, any herb is good, a beneficial insect. Most of the, okay, and the same person asking, are all the plants you mentioned in native plants? Okay. Most of them are native. Some of the are not native. So this is my philosophy. I support a lot of the native, and I trying to include a lot of more native now in my designs. But what I believe is like nature. So if we talk about the papa, it wasn't a native 100 years ago. It became native. Eventually, it adapted to this soil. The things that we're talking about, apples, they're not native. Peaches, they're not native. But they support the environment. They support people, and they support animals. I think we need to be just smart about what we are including, something that support more than just food again. Yeah, they're not all native, but this is my personal philosophy. I include things that are native, but they have multiple purpose. They have also support the environment. Okay, another question. Okay, what is the best way to reclaim a backhand lot site of demolished building in South Pennsylvania? The best way, wood chips, man, wood chips. If you are planning to plant, so let's say you want to plant, you're not even sure what you're gonna plant, but you in your heart you say, hopefully in 2 years I'm gonna plant something in my backyard. If you know that, get wood chips, lay it down in there, cardboard, let it out and let it be. By the time you come back, it will be ready to be planted. That soil there, it will be so good. I will cover that area with wood chips. I would do also a lot of things like, again, comfrey. Comfrey can just go and grow happily around. You need to be able just to do the chopping and dropping around. If you are willing to do that, comfrey is a way to go. They suck the nutrient from the down below because their root is very deep, and then bring it up to the surface to the surrounding plants. And even when you cut it, they release it, their nitrogen. The corresponding root release the nutrients in the nitrogen in the soil. So the chopping and dropping is a good way also to do mulch, but also improve your soil. Okay. Question. What kind of pH do they like? It's between 4.5 and 5.5 pH. But again, it doesn't really matter. Like, you just need to just test your soil, and they tell you what you need to do. Wild indigo a native around here? Does it like a good amount of sun, or it can do okay with shade? They will take shade, and that's the reason that I put them around the tree. So when I am planting a newly tree, I actually put it in the same hole. If I am planting, let's say, an apple tree, I'm gonna put the blue indigo right there within the same hole, and I want that because I want the nitrogen be available right where the tree is. It's again, it's not native, but again, I use a lot in my design. Again, nitrogen fixer, but at the same time bring pollinators. So it's a great plant to have around. Where do you get inoculant to get mushroom in your wood chips? I usually I use I think it's a field forest. They have a lot of mushroom, but the best mushroom to grow in wood chip is the wine cup or the giant garden. But I use that a lot in wood chips. They do well in wood chips. So I wouldn't go with any other mushroom. The wine cap or it's called wine cap or giant garden. They grow really well in wood chip. You need to be just pay attention to the moist and cover it. You do that, and they'll be happy in the wood chips. Thank you, Lori. She says something nice to me. Yeah. Are Alpine strawberry able to thrive in sun? Yes, they are. So Alpine and strawberry, actually, they are native, and they grow a little bit gentler than the domestic strawberry. The domestic strawberry, the runaway, they grow crazy everywhere. The Alpine strawberry, they grow more gentle. They will cover the ground, and this is the best thing. They taste better. They're smaller, but they taste better than the domestic strawberries. So Alpine strawberry are good. And yeah, they're native, and they will do well in that sun too, 6.5 to 7. Okay. Do you ever have a problem with first wood chip killing the plants? So when I am applying the wood chips, I don't pile it up crazy around the plants. I leave it a few inches open, and everything is very thick. If they won't die, really. Again, plants love the moist, the water. It's good. I mean, yeah, I don't have problem killing. Again, I don't pile it up next to the trunk or next to the plant. I always leave a little a few inches open around the trunk, and they will be fine.
You say the question above that about the pH of blueberries?
What is it?
The pH of blueberries. Jane is clarifying her earlier question to you.
What was that? I'm not getting what is it?
What kind of pH do blueberries like?
What level? What level or what kind?
Right.
I mean, what level? As I think it's 4.5 to 5.5, I think. But again, it's when you send it to the lab, they're gonna tell you exactly what it is and what you need to do. And yeah, I would, yeah. Okay, if you want to integrate a vine like hardy kiwi, can you have it grow up to main tree? Do you need to wait for the tree to be established? Yes, yeah. Hardy kiwi, they're very fast growing vine. What happened is most of the time people don't prune it and then let it grow crazy. The hardy kiwi can grow, can crawl to find a tree and grow up high in a very tall tree. But usually we need to prune it. We need to maintain it. But yeah, I won't grow a hardy kiwi next to the small tree. Yeah, it's gonna just cover the poor tree. Usually hardy kiwi are contained in a trellis, and they're fine. They're a beautiful vine too, and very, very productive. It's the very, very productive. Again, the key here for the hardy kiwi, they're easy to grow. They don't have that much pest problem, but you need to be patient. It's gonna take about 5 to 7 years to bear fruit. But after that, you'll be harvesting hardy kiwi year after years. Will you be offering any hand-on workshop in 2020? That's a great question. Well, yes. I actually, so this one, it just kind of like entering into the forest. I try to be quick and easy, but each topic here, it needs to be go deeper. And yeah, I'm gonna be actually partnering with 2 farms the next year. And yeah, I'm gonna be actually doing things from scratch. We're gonna start a food forest, and we're gonna be doing a lot of fun things like how you can look to the land, and the main thing that you need to be thinking about how you can prepare your soil. We're gonna have wood chips around to show how it works. We're gonna be doing pruning, planting, all these things in a food forest. If you go to my website later this winter, I'm gonna be adding a lot of more details about it. But yeah, I wanna, yeah, most of the time, whatever we're talking in here, it will make a lot of more sense when I can show you, when I can tell you, look, this is what the wood chip does. When you see a wood chip that is breaking down for 2 years, or 1 year, and or 5 years, and things like that. Or this is how you plant, like you position the tree this way when you're planting. All these little details that actually make difference when you are planting trees or bushes. So yeah, I will be doing that the next year. I don't have more detail. We're still trying to figure out more little finalized in detail, but yeah, we're gonna be doing that. I'll keep you guys posted.
Can you put your web address in the chat for everyone? Can you type that in there, Edil?
There. That one. That's my website actually, so you can look into that. Another question is, where do you get wood chips? I usually get whatever I can get it really. I tell my clients to just put a sign there like a wood chip wanted. You're lucky you're gonna get that, but they're not expensive. If you're gonna get it from a landscape company, they usually is very cheap. It's worth it to pay it because again you're gonna be building up your soil. And just look at the closest landscape company close to you and see they always carrying wood chips. And somebody say, Marina, there is an online site called Chip Drop where you can get chip. There you go. Okay. When you say chopping and dropping, do you mean that you chop down the plant a few times each summer, then chop up the leaf and spread this piece in the garden like comfrey mulch? Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Comfrey grow like, again, it goes fast very quickly. So actually it's better for the plant. You cut it, you leave it a few inches from the ground, and you mulch it whatever you want it. I mean, it's organic matter again, and where the comfrey is going to be releasing the nutrients around. Okay. How about wood chip from the barrel? Are they okay? Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're okay. It's yeah. So when we are talking about wood chip, people get a little concerned about, are there gonna be any like things that they are not so good? Things like black walnut, the main concern around here. I will say yes, it's fine, because I mean, if the wood chip would choose black walnut, I wouldn't use it, but it's a mix. And again, it breaking down. And if it's the black walnut works because it's alive, it keeps things are not growing around here. But when it's chip it down, it starts breaking down in the soil. It's gonna be a little hard. Maybe it depends on how much percent it is in the wood chip. And I won't really worry about that much. It's gonna break down eventually in the soil.
Any other questions for Edil? You can unmute yourself too if you'd like.
I think I'm almost done with a question, Mark.
Yeah, I don't see any more in the chat. Does anyone want to unmute themselves to ask the question?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you so much, Edil. It's wonderful.
Yeah, again, it's a little intense. I tried to condense it smaller to a half hour, but it was a little challenging. But
it was great.
That's a great introduction to this topic, and people are praising you for your enthusiasm. And yes, I agree. Great job. Really like the topic. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Edil, thanks for spending your time with us tonight and putting this together.
Yeah, happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, you guys, if they have more questions, send me an email. You can learn a little bit on my blog on my website about the wood chips, about the food forest, and other topics.
backyardorchard.com.
Yeah.
Great, thanks so much.
I
You're
got
welcome.
just a couple
We
of
have
questions,
somebody?
if it's okay. Yeah,
Go
is that
ahead.
all right?
Go
Okay,
ahead, go
so
ahead.
one's related to just that ginger. I do have native ginger, and it does spread where I put it. Is that a concern, or you just put so many other things that they kind of learn to live with each other? You know, so my question was asking, is it, you know, a ginger become a problem that it spreads too much? And what do you do about it?
Yeah, in the beginning, it depends really. Like in the beginning, when the tree is small, I wouldn't like what I say mint. I need to correct myself. It's a multi-mint, the one that I use. It doesn't spread. It's like so because you know the mint it just grow crazy. If yeah, no, it depends where you're gonna. In the beginning is fine because again you can chop and drop it. You are adding organic matter. It's better than the weed, so it's gonna suppress the weed. So if it's too much, you chop it and drop it. It's fine. It will be fine.
And also, do you, you showed a lot of slides from clients that you say you had where you did, you know, the work of how to start them with a food forest. Do you work locally?
Yeah, I am in Phoenixville. Yeah, I work. Yeah, like most of my clients are around here.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, I imagine that this presentation will generate a lot of traffic to your, you know, site, and hopefully get a lot of food forests seeded all around. So
yeah, that's one of my goals. Like when I see, so actually, yeah, I wanna find like some like a public space. So this winter I'm gonna be working in a proposal for public spaces. I wanna have food forest demonstration spot things like I'm gonna start with. Yeah, I need to work more like in detail about like why is good, what the benefits and things like that, because it actually, if it's like as a community, it's going to build a community. We can grow food for donating and things like that. But also
yeah.
I wanna like things that where people can get inspired and can learn. I will be working over the winter about that, and hopefully I can find some space where I can do that.
I have some ideas. Okay, great.
Good.
I've put Edil's email address into the chat.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Mark.
Yep. Okay, well, thanks again, Edil, and thanks everyone else for joining us tonight. I'll invite you to join us next Monday at 7 for the next presentation in the Community Gardening Series, Native Plants in Holiday Celebrations with Teresa J. Avery. And you can register for that event at our website, www.phoenixvillelibrary.org. And with that, we'll call it a night. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Good night now.